Hi, Teo Morca speaking here. This is one of 8 photo collages. I'm going to do a little video of each photo. This one here is my mother, Regina Rela, playing palmas at a little huerga at one of our workshops, 2-week workshops, and she always loved to come and participate. I'm just going to cross over to photo. These 8 different collages were done for some solo concerts I did in Costa Rica a few years ago. This is a program of my very first solo concert night in May 1963. Me, Benito Palacios, and El Niño de las Cabezas was the singer, and Leonel de Leon was the pianist. I wish you could see the program. It makes me tired just to look at it right now. It's so many numbers I did, jotas and classical. I came out on the Los Angeles Magazine of the Week. These are no particular order. This is me when I was about 17 or 18 with Jose Cancino. Teresita is the girl I'm dancing with. She ended up marrying a wonderful Basque dancer. And this is in Jose Cancino's studio. This is a solo studio shot, I believe, me when I was about 21 or so. Lansing Brown, a great photographer, and I believe he took that photo. I had hair then. This is me at 17 with a wonderful guitarist in Jose Cancino's studio. He used to play for Carmen Amaya. And I think of his name in a minute. I'll come back to it. Dropping down. I can't remember this wonderful lady's name, but this again, I'm in Jose Cancino's studio. He had a collection of antique fans up there, and I'm about 17, 18 here. I fell in love with dance coming to this studio, flamenco. This shot here is me in the last year of high school. I was a gymnast, and I'm doing a handstand on parallel bars, what they called a German, straight up and down. I guess being a gymnast helped my dance later, I think. This is another studio shot by a wonderful Hungarian. I was getting ready to go to Spain here. That's what I looked like when I was getting ready to go to Spain. That waistline is long gone. Well, not so far gone. Here I am with Jose Cancino and Amparini Turbi and Raul Segovia. Amparini was a wonderful dancer. She passed away young. She was the daughter of Amparo Iturbi, the famous pianist, and her mother was the sister of Jose Iturbi, the famous pianist. That they played all over the world. Dropping down, here's a shot that I was doing some modeling. This was part of a brochure, and did some modeling a little bit. This is me right in front of El Prado, near El Prado in Madrid, and I was dancing with Pilar Lopez at the time and getting ready to do a tour. Here I am dancing on top of a table doing a zapateado. Antonio Brand is playing for me. We're another Hungarian like myself. We grew up together, and notice he's playing left-handed. He was a left-handed guitarist. And this place was called the Insomniac. It was on Hermosa Beach, and we introduced flamenco there, and it was one of the first places that had an espresso machine. Quite unique. This is my group called Los Flamencos. And there I am with Pepe Segundo, the great singer, Benito Palacios. There's Dana, or she calls herself Maria, Yorgo Grecia, and Dolores, his wife. And we had a wonderful group. We danced all over L.A. and this was taken at Santa Barbara back in about 1960. Here I am featured in the Moulin Rouge in Hollywood. I had a nice year and a little over a year contract. I was featured in a Spanish fantasy number and had to do everything else too, jazz, etc. So, a little bit of overview. This montage was put together in Costa Rica when I lived there, and there's 8 of these, so hopefully, little by little, I'll put them together. Bueno, continuing with my taking a video of these, this collage, a series of photos that was part of an 8-part series for some solo concerts I did. Here I am with Carmen Amaya. This was in about 1958. We got to know each other when she came to Los Angeles, where I was living. And she came and saw me dance. In the 60s, we followed her into her performance at the Chateau Madrid in Los Angeles. And she gave me her champagne glass and said, "Muy bien, chico." Carmen Amaya, wonderful. Kind of coming across to another wonderful dancer that I had a chance to dance with. This is La Chunga and I, backstage of the Café de Chinitas. I had a wonderful time performing with her, partnered her in various numbers, and that was an exciting thing for me to do. This is Pilar Lopez and Alejandro Vega. We were in Holland when this picture was taken on tour, and that's another wonderful experience. I had a wonderful time in Spain, and look back at those memories, incredible. She was wonderful to dance with, and great artist, of course. Here I am with Mario Escudero, and we worked together in New York. He's a wonderful guitarist, Gitano from the north, and had a chance to do concerts with him. Lots of stories there. When he opened his guitar academy with Sammy Martin in Triana, Spain, I was there at opening, and I got a chance to video a little bit of Alegrías with him playing for his opening. Here's Pilar Lopez and I again. This was in Madrid right before our concert there, and that was wonderful. Many memories there. This is Antonio Canales and I backstage while we were performing together in Albuquerque at the festival at Albuquerque. That was the first year I think he was there. I was a soloist, and Eva brought him in as the star, so got to know him and saw him many times. Here's Cristina Hoyos and Juan Antonio Jimenez. Juan Antonio and I go back to the 60s when we were both with Pilar Lopez, and that was exciting. And he married Cristina Hoyos, I guess when they were both with Antonio Gades' company. And this photo brought back many memories from those days. This photo is Pepe Romero, the wonderful guitarist. We did a joint concert together in Bellingham, Washington. I did classical works with him, and then I did some flamenco with Gary and Calvin Hazen and Yalisa were my guest artists. Here are my boots, Gallardo's, patched up. And speaking of Gallardo, here he is, he and I at his shop in down by Mesón de los Paredes in Madrid, and had many memories watching. I wish I could have learned to make shoes. I'd love to just know how to repair them, but that's getting to be a lost art. Here's El Cojo de Sevilla. I had a nice time visiting him in Sevilla in his studio. This is his front door. And he's a wonderful dancer. trained many of the great women dancers of Spain and all over the world. Here's Juan Serrano and I. We performed together in some concerts many years ago. So this is another series, part of an 8 series of collages that I had in the foyer of a theater in Costa Rica where I did some solo concerts there. Bueno, continuing, this is the third set of the collages of different photos that were made for some solo concerts that I did a few years ago in Costa Rica. This is in the Cafe de Chinitas, dancing with La Chunga tangos de Triana. And many memories in these, and I thought I'd put them on video so that hopefully I could look at them and share them. Here's Pilar Lopez and I dancing together. I believe this was El Albaicin by Albéniz, and this was in Madrid. I toured with her throughout Europe and Spain, and enjoyed it, learned a lot. I always toured and worked with people that I could learn from and share. Here's La Chunga and I again in the Cafe de Chinitas. I believe this is tangos again. And I worked there and had a great time working with some great artists, Felipe Maya, El Indio Gitano, Portuguese, many great guitarists. Here I am rehearsing in Amor de Dios, the old Amor de Dios in Madrid. I can't remember the girl's name. She was from South Africa, but she played very well, and I was actually, I think, dancing por Taranto here. And I would give her some dance lessons, and she would play for rehearsals for me. Here's one of my favorite dances, choreographies and photos. This is my Toccata and Fugue of Bach that I did in the 70s. It was quite innovative at the time, and this was during a performance. I can't remember where. I think it was Jacob's Pillow. This shot was taken. Bach's Toccata Fugue D minor, and also it was featured in The Joy of Bach, the movie. Here I'm in the Cafe de Chinitas dancing my Por Romeras by Alegrías, and the singer Chato Maya in background sang for me that day. Different nights that I performed, different singers, most of the same guitarists. Serranito, and it was great. Here's Ted Shawn at Jacob's Pillow. This was about 1967. I performed there quite a few times. It was a great audition. I auditioned for him in Orlando, Florida, and he liked my work very much. And my first big lecture demonstration was with him, a 2-hour lecture dem, and I have his voice on tape. Those days there was no video. And Ted Shawn at Jacob's Pillow. Speaking of Serranito, here he is. He's the one that hired me for the Cafe de Chinitas. And this is how we dressed when we went to work. It was nothing shabby. I had to have some suits made. So I made a couple wonderful suits. This Gitano tailor that handmade some suits for me, and they were great. This is a wonderful artist, Antonina del Puerto. Gary was playing, Gary Hayes, Gerardo Alcala, and we were at a little huerga. And I think this was in Seattle. So he was a wonderful gypsy from, I believe, well, Sevilla, Cádiz, Jerez, all over. He was a butcher at one time. He made some incredible chorizo, And he was in that movie about garlic. It was great. This is Javier Solis, the great singer from Mexico. I opened his show at the $1 Million Theater in LA. He was kind of, they called him the Frank Sinatra of Mexico. He was fantastic and died too young, but a very famous singer. And the $1 Million Theater had variety acts apart from movies. Speaking of Geraldo, here he is. Geraldo and I. This was his actual solo concert, and I was just playing some castanets for him. And that was great. Geraldo and I have been working together since 1975, off and on, and as I make this, it's 2013, so we go way back. I think he... Here we are speaking of El Indio Gitano. There he is singing for La Chunganay. I think we're doing another tango series of some sort. We changed each night, but basically we had a wonderful time dancing together. I loved it. Here we are in Japan with Matilde Corral and his daughter, and there's Maria Temo and I backstage at Matilde's show. She was there teaching, I believe, and there was a recital there of her students. That was in Tokyo. We had been there in Tateyama doing a festival, flamenco festival in Tateyama, Japan, and then we went to visit friends in Tokyo. Here I am doing a zapateado, and I think this was Washington, D.C., at a concert. Here's my dear friend Victorio Corjan and Cristobal de los Reyes. This was at Victoria's apartment in Madrid. And Cristobal is a very famous flamenco dancer and the uncle of Joaquin Cortez, super dancer. So we got to be friends there. Here's Matilde Corral in her studio in Triana. Wonderful artist, and met her many years before when she was with Greco touring. Speaking of Japan, here I am, Maria Temo playing Asturias for me from Albanese, dancing here. And we had a wonderful time in Tokyo and Japan and Tateyama, and actually had a chance to stay in private homes. So, leaving you for the next. This is the beginning of the 4th series of collages. They're no particular order, as I mentioned before. This is me somewhere, I think, around Granada. Every time we were on tour, I wake up early in the morning and I'd like to walk and see what's around the next corner, so I used to walk a lot on tour. Here we are in France, on the way to Holland. So somebody in the company, this is Pilar Lopez company, and I'm on tour with this. And we toured all through France and had lunch under the Eiffel Tower. All kinds of wonderful stories there. Here I am, look like I'm showing off with a shirt, but it was about 100 and some degrees. We danced at a bull ring somewhere in Spain. I can't remember where. We were going so many tours, so many cities. But they put up stage up in the bull ring in the corner, and we did a concert there, whatever. I mean, people were about a mile away, so I don't know. Anyway. Here are the chicos of the company, and I don't remember all their names. I'm right there, a second from the left. Quique, that's Antonio Gades' brother. He was murdered in Madrid for a leather jacket. Juan Antonio Jimenez, little Gitano on the end there, and the man at the far left is from Argentina, wonderful guitarist and dancer. This was in Granada, hotter than heck. This is Maria Gloria and I dancing in concert. We were doing something. I think we had a duet at the end of the concert, some kind of a little patada of something. Wonderful girl. She actually was raised in Switzerland. Spoke 4 languages. I hung out with her because when we were touring, she could speak all the different languages. We were in France and all over the place. Here's a poster of Isabel and I that we used for our concert tours. It's a wonderful bata. She made that bata. And this was part of a poster. It came out in Dance Magazine. Here are the muchachos again, the male dancers. This was dancing the finale. I think we were in Madrid here. And Alejandro Vega on the left there. And then there's me, there's Edo, there's Quique, and Juan Antonio Jimenez. Wonderful people, love them, miss a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of stories, a lot of stories. Here's Quique again, and Diony Peña, little Gitana that came along to sing for the tangos for Alejandro Vega and Pilar Lopez. She was a wonderful singer. Yeah. Pepin Salazar, the guitarist, he and I took her to a peña once, and we had to get permission from her family to escort her there and escort her back. It was great, but what a singer. Wonderful girl. Here I am doing my guajiras. I don't know where. It's someplace in concert. I'm holding my bouquet of flowers. It was a pantomime piece. First I did it as a solo, and pantomime a girl, standing me up, and then Isabel and I did it as a duet, and Lydia Torre and I did it at the first festival concert in Albuquerque in 1987. This is a brochure of a tour that I did, probably about 200 concerts literally. This is some of the names, you can't see them, but let me get close. Well, there's New York. There's some of them all the way from Seattle. We did 42 states in 6 months. It was horrible, but it's part of the agony and the ecstasy of touring. When I wrote my book, Dance Touring, the Agony and the Ecstasy of Countless One-Night Stands, part of it had to do with this tour. Here's a fun number that I loved. Arte na Fragua. Kind of an idea of where this cante came from, just from workers in the forge. That's Gerardo playing the anvil. I made that anvil. It looked so real. It took me about 2 weeks to make the top of it to sound like metal, but the base is wood. And Roberto Zamora singing. I was dancing carceleras or martinetes and seguirillas. This is the end of a number called Semana Santa. And this was another great number that I liked, a dramatic number. 2 jailers in prison during Holy Week, each asking forgiveness in their own way. And the singer would sing saeta, and then I would dance the carceleras just with cante. Here's Isabel and I dancing. I think it was Por Alegrías. There's Gerardo and Roberto Zamora and Roberto Clifton. Wonderful guy. Yeah, we had a lot of fun there. Here I am featured in Las Vegas, Sahara Hotel. I was dancing my Alegrías, Benito playing, so this part was very traditional, but after that it was a lot of fantasy. Of course, the showgirls behind. Showbiz in Vegas. but I got a chance to dance my alegrías. This was 1964, so it goes way back. Here I am dancing porcillerías in New Orleans at the Flamenco Club. And that's Pablo Cañas singing for me. Yeah. Yeah, that was... Yeah. That was a great thing there, too. There's dancing, a shot that was taken of me dancing for Soleá. This is in Madrid, and when Pilar Lopez saw me doing a TV show, that's how I got in the Pilar Lopez company. Felipe Gallo played the guitar, and that's a whole story where I went to Chiqui Linares' aunt's house, met a priest who recommended me, did the show. Pilar Lopez saw it, invited me as guest artist, and as they say, the rest is history. This is me doing Bach, Toccata, and Fugue. It's a little, the light here is kind of weird, but I was dancing Bach, Toccata, and Fugue in D minor. I was rehearsing in the Amor de Dios here. I don't know what I was doing braseo or something. Here again is the Semana Santa. There's a candlelight in the back and a cross that I made. Yeah. Ole. A lot of memories. This was the fourth one of the collage. And kind of just going around it, you can see it all glued up for the performance. These were shown in the foyer in Costa Rica, the Teo Theater, the Teatro Eugene O'Neill. Okay, this is the fifth in the series of collages, the fifth series. As I say, there's no particular order. This is me doing Las Botas Mágicas, the magic boots. It's probably one of the most original numbers I've ever done, and it won a New York Choreographic Prize. And I did it for many years, break up the programs that were more serious numbers. Shoemaker finds a pair of magic boots, and it was basically improvised each night as the guitarist was off in the wings. It was always done with live music, and Gerardo played it mostly. Here it is again, part of it, doing the campanas. Yeah, it was a fun number. I loved it. And these original magic boots, the white ones I still have. And the first time I did it was 1963, and it evolved into a real acting piece with the ripped clothes and everything. Here it is almost to the end of it, and I think it's going great before the boots stop, run out of gas. It was a fun number. I used to do this number in contrast to the Botas Mágicas. I called it Dos Dramas Flamencas, so I might do something like this. This is the La Semana Santa, and that's Dominic Caro in the back. Two jailers in prison during Holy Week, each asking forgiveness in their own way, one through cante and one through baile. And it was very successful. And I would usually do them back to back, one comedy and then this number, or vice versa. This is Arte en la Fragua again. This is another dramatic piece, strictly done with rhythm and cante. And the rhythm I used, of course, the seguirías, which is the base of carceleras and martinetes that give credit to Antonio Luis Ruiz Soler, that was the first to do it. Back to the Botas Mágicas again, different poses, kind of the boots going where the heck they wanted to. Here I am doing Escuela Bolera. Wow, I could jump pretty high. I did, in my first concerts, I did La Puerta de Tierra, which is a bolero, and then Seguidillas of Albeniz, which was a seguidillas, and I would do them back to back. I had a lot of energy in those days. And